Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone here today to discuss an important issue now that students are dealing with in the high school, middle school, and elementary levels, which is eating disorders. I'd like to welcome my guest, Emily Guilfoyle, who is a junior here at Henderson High School. Thanks for coming today.
You're welcome.
This is something that's very personal for you because it's something that you've been struggling with for a long time and that you are now comfortable with speaking about, and to give other people an idea of the warning signs and to help other people not to deal with the struggles that you have. So maybe we could start by just having you explain a little bit about your background and when this problem sort of developed in your life.
Well, I was 10 years old, and I was in elementary school. I was in the 5th grade, and I had always had weight issues. I was overweight, my weight fluctuated a lot, and my mom was always on me about what I ate and making sure that I was staying healthy. And I remember eating dinner one night, and it was like a normal night, and after dinner I went upstairs, and the food wasn't sitting comfortably with me because I wasn't comfortable with myself, and I got sick. I made myself get sick, and it was so easy to me, and it was something so new. And I was like, if I can do this and lose weight and still eat what I wanted, then why not do it? So I didn't do it the next day. I think I did it again that week, and then the pattern started developing. I would do it in the school bathroom after lunch. I would do it after I ate a snack when I came home. I would do it all the time. And I finally realized that this was a problem and this wasn't normal. Talking to my friend about it, because I was telling her what I had been doing, and we were 10 years old, and she was like, that's not good for you, getting sick isn't good. And from a 10-year-old's perspective, it was, getting sick or making yourself get sick, and no 10-year-old likes getting sick, so it kind of seemed funny to her. And we drifted a little bit after I told her that. I felt like I was like losing myself and losing my friends too because of this problem. So I finally told my mom what was going on, and she was in shock. She could not believe it. And I got counseling then and there, and then I went to middle school, and I couldn't get away with throwing up anymore, so I just starved myself,
So one of the things that you mentioned was that you could eat the foods that you enjoyed and still, have the taste and to be able to fit in with your friends at lunch, and then you would hide the fact that, you were able to keep that weight off by making yourself sick.
Yeah.
So was it something that you felt like your friends were thin and you wanted to be thin, or was it just, like you said, it was just so easy that, this was something that was cool? Or what were the ideas going through your head then?
My friends were all really thin. My best friend, actually, she was 2 years younger than me, and she was my neighbor. And she was tiny. She must have weighed like 60 pounds. But she was also 2 years younger and 3 inches shorter. And I was always with her, and I wanted to be as thin as her, and I wanted to please my mom and make her happy. This whole time she had thought that I was losing weight in a healthy way, but it wasn't healthy.
So here we are 6, 7 years later, and you're at a much healthier weight, and you have a real good attitude about this. So what are the steps to recovery that you were able to do to bring yourself to this healthy weight and to be able to be comfortable enough to talk about this, in a candid situation like this?
It took a long time. All through middle school, I struggled with weight issues. I was anorexic. At one point, I was less than 100 pounds, and I've always been tall, so it wasn't normal for me. I've always had an athletic build. 7th and 8th grade, I think my weight went up, and then coming to high school, I had a full relapse and was back to 100 pounds. And I finally went to rehab. We took like extra steps in getting better. And when I went to rehab, I went there kicking and screaming. I did not want to be there. I was hospitalized. And once my brain got in that right state of mind, because it wasn't right from starving it, I realized that what I was doing to myself was bad, and it affected a lot of the people around me, my mom especially. And I remember my mom telling me once, when I was refusing recovery, she had said, "Emily, if you had cancer, would you want me to help you?" And I said, "Yeah, but I don't have cancer." And she said, yeah, you're right. You have something much worse than that. You have something that only you can control, and you don't want to get help for it. So how can anybody else help you?
How did it come about that you were put into a rehab? Was it something that your friends or your family recognized that it was becoming a problem again, or was it again almost like a self-discovery, like, Mom, I've got a problem?
It was my friends and my family. I was in complete denial of it, and I had hit rock bottom when I had, my heart stopped and I had collapsed, and I went into heart failure, and I was in the hospital, and they admitted me from the hospital, so I didn't have a choice. So I was kind of forced into recovery, but being forced into recovery, that was the best thing that could have happened. Hitting rock bottom for me was the best thing that could have happened, because I have gotten much better since then.
How do you feel about yourself now? Is it something that you still struggle with? Is it in the back of your head, or are you happy with yourself now and feel like, this is me, and, everyone just take me as I am?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be there. It's kind of like the recovering alcoholic. You're always going to be a recovered alcoholic. The temptation's always going to be there. You have to avoid certain situations, and I feel much happier with myself and much more comfortable with food and eating, and I have so much more energy now. I feel like I'm so much more full of life than I was.
Well, that's awesome. Well, what are one or two things that, I know that you've seen people here that are dealing with the same thing that you struggle with. What's something you could say to them to, to maybe wake them up a little bit and to realize that, this is just going to make things worse in the long run? Because I know the health effects of this are long lasting. So, what's something you would maybe say to someone who might be dealing with a similar thing?
I would say to them to picture it being their little sister or their little cousin or their little niece. Um, it's something that is so hard for everybody else around you to deal with, and it's something that's so hard on your own body. And the side effects are still with me. I have low electrolytes, and I'm a runner, so it affects my running, and it can affect any athletic sport. And once you get yourself into that habit, it's so hard to get out of. And like I said, I'm always going to be a recovered anorexic, so it's something that's always going to be there, so avoid it by getting help sooner.
And I know this year you've been working on a graduation project that is basically a PSA for eating disorders, and it's something that you're campaigning for. How's that project been going for you?
Really well. It's actually really cool because we interviewed a lot of my friends, and they had said things in the video that they had never been able to say to me when I wasn't in the right state of mind. So, I mean, now that I'm better, it's easier to hear that, but I never realized how much it affected the people around me until I saw that.
Well, I know it's a really difficult thing to talk about, and I want to thank you for your time this morning, and I wish you the best in your continued recovery.
Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.